Now we're live.
All that? Is it showing up live on your phone? There's about a 30-second delay, so it probably is.
So my question being, here we are on our inaugural YouTube Live that we publicized, and we feel like somebody's grandparents or parents with a webcam. And this is their profile picture.
We just talked for 5 minutes, and my wife came down and said, "You're not live. You must have forgot to push the button."
Whoops, forgot to mash the button. So we are live on our first YouTube stream, and
Joe, what is it, Joe? Joe, we gave such a great shout out to you in the 5 minutes that we weren't live.
Joe, we talked about how we went to separate high schools together, how your mother and my mother are mothers. We covered all the bases. Sorry you didn't hear that. we are tight, my man. So, Joe, thank you for coming. And now, here we go, Brian Landreth. I would have to, this sounds arrogant, but super fan. Brian is chiming in our stuff. We've answered questions on our channel based on questions he's asked. We've done a segment or two based on suggestions he had about how to run pedals.
Yeah, man.
He's been a great friend of the channel.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's,
so welcome.
Well, it's like we're making new friends, which was the whole goal of this was to make some friends that want to talk guitar. So, Brian, we appreciate all the time you've spent leaving comments and sending suggestions and giving us tips and everything else.
We're looking down at the comments because we can do that. So part of what we were talking about was, if you're following the channel, which if you're on here you are, I was just in Nashville and I got to spend time with some friends, and I parlayed some of that time hanging with friends who are musicians into doing some segments on our channel because they're friends of mine. They're great musicians. One is a good producer, a top producer. I say top's a strong word, but a successful producer in Nashville, Saul Oliveri. And if you looked at our channel today, you saw that we released that video.
Mm-hmm. I know Brian watched it because he left a comment on it. He said the same thing I thought. Interesting guy.
He really is. He's such a great guy. He's an amazing musician, a quality human being, and he's been a friend of mine. He doesn't like me to say how long because Nashville's a young man's game. He's very young. We've known each other for a very long time, but yet he's still very young. But his success right now...
He looks much younger than you.
He does. He was wearing a hat. But his success right now, I couldn't be happier for him. He's such a great guy. Yeah. The success he's had is an intersection of hard work and God's blessings on his life, and he looks at it that way. He knows that, he wouldn't be anywhere, if it weren't for the grace of God. But he's a hard worker. He's got a great studio in his house in Brentwood. And I was joking about part of the segment was him booking session players and how do you pick them, and he kind of talked about that, and you'll tease the video and go watch it. But just this week after I left, he had Brent Mason come in and do a session, and I was joking with Jason that he had to have that session after I left town because Brent, I think, has a PFA against me for tracking him down at various shows. But I did have a conversation with him and get a picture taken with him not too long ago, and he's another great guy. So I just got back from Nashville.
Brian ordered a shirt.
Oh, nice. Very good. Yeah.
Do you know what he's doing? Brian, so you know what you're doing. That T-shirt funds the Save Our Rear Ends from These Stools Fund.
Yes, that's right. Either we're going to get an endorsement from Rock Sock or we're going to spend our T-shirt money
on some new stools.
Instead of these $30 ones that I got from one of the big box stores on sale.
Oh my gosh. But thank you for ordering the shirt, Brian. Yeah. That's cool. Can't wait to see a picture. You got to take a picture and post it on the page for us. That'd be awesome.
So, I don't know where we want to go next. We kind of had some things we want to talk about. So there's other segments to come from my trip to Nashville. I spent time with my good friend Brody, who has a really great guitar collection, both acoustic, electric, his amplifiers. He's made some really good friends in Nashville with some people that have helped him get a couple of the collector choice guitars, one of the first 5 in each one of those runs, and we go over those guitars and play them. Not we. He wasn't there.
Yeah.
He was home. I'm texting him videos, and he's editing them and having them ready the next day. And speaking of stalking, I'm in Nashville, and I'm like, what the heck, man? I met John Bollinger from the Rig Rundown, the Premier Guitar, at NAMM last summer, and I'm like, why don't I just shoot him a message and say, we've got this fledgling YouTube channel. I'm coming to town. Would love to talk to you. And a couple hours later, he answered me, and about 5 or 6 exchanges later, we go down to AJ's Good Time bar on Broadway, and he's playing that night, and we kind of shot a segment of the Rig Rundown on the Rig Rundown guy, sort of guerrilla style on the sidewalk of Broadway. It was so loud. We were like, so what, how many nights a week do you play? But he was so cool to be willing to do that. Got to watch him play pedal steel, harmonica that night. Really nice guy.
He's a killer player.
He's a really, really good player.
Like, we've talked about this. When I first started watching Rig Rundowns, there was something... It's like early John Mayer.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like, I wrote John Mayer off, like... I forget what... It might have been one of Clapton's big things or whatever, but he was on stage and, like... I felt like he was on stage having a bowel movement he couldn't pass. Like, it was the worst guitar face, singer face.
One of the greatest pictures of that is the picture that someone did all the memes of guitar players holding slugs instead of guitars. Go find that picture of the guitar player with Mayer, and it looks like he's holding a slug. Yeah, that awkwardness, I can't watch, but I can't not watch, but I can't watch.
Well, and so then Dead & Company came out and said we're going on tour with John Mayer, and I was just kind of like,
fantastic.
What just happened?
What have I done to deserve this?
But apparently, like, he's toned down the facial thing a little bit, and then you start listening to him, and you're like, wow, he's a really awesome player, and the stuff he's doing with them is incredible. I feel John Bollinger kind of the same way when I first. Like, kind of quirky or whatever, but then you start to, like, listen to what he's playing. And you sent me that Instagram post where he's testing the dumbbells and he's playing slide guitar, and it is sick.
Yeah, he's playing a 60s 335 Ed Carter's Vintage Music, which is, I'm sorry, I'm not sure who's listening, but hands down, the best guitar store I've been to on the planet. So there is a video of John Bollinger playing a 60s 335 through various dumbbells at Carter's, and he's going to release that in 3 parts.
So Joe asked if any metal fans.
And if I said yes, and then he pressed me for bands, he'd know I'm not telling the truth. I don't dislike it. I think there is an incredible amount of skill in playing guitar in a metal band with just the right hand picking and then just the sweep on the leads. And there's definitely an art and hard work. It's just not necessarily my genre, but I appreciate what it takes to do it.
My son was really into... One of my sons was really into Screamo when he was in high school. And I could never get past the guttural screaming thing. But I would listen to some of the music he was playing, and I'm like, man, this guitar player... The drummers are playing
double kick and double time and throwing fills in. So that's a little... stronger on the metal continuum, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of skill and a lot of hard work that goes into making that type of music. It's just something I'm not cut my teeth on.
When you get past like Zeppelin,
yeah, that's right. Is ABBA metal? Then I'm a metal fan. I don't know. So yeah, so we'll just keep talking. We'll interject and answer questions. And Brian, thanks again for the comment. Yeah, we do. I might take the word "great" out of there. We do demo pedals.
We do demo pedals. See, we do lots of things.
So kind of going back to what Jason was saying, which I don't know if made it on the part that didn't make it or did make it, but we started this channel to hang out. Number one, honestly, like to hang out. We play together at church. We're 25 feet apart. We never play each other's gear. We barely look at each other's pedal boards. And he just texted me or said something at church like, we should start a YouTube channel. I'm like, no, we really shouldn't do that. But we did, and we should. So we hang out. We have different segments. If you follow us, which you know you do if you're on this, like, you should try this. It started with not this one, but I have played this now. This is History 35. You should try this. And so we've had some episodes of you should try this, and then we started trying each other's pedals on the board, and then I found out about Love Pedal through Jason, and we've gone cuckoo for the sales and done videos on those.
I think my favorite thing that we've done or doing are the field trips.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we've been to a couple of guitar stores. We have a couple more we want to go to. We want to go to them all. So we have a lot more that we want to go to, but kind of tagging into what you were saying. So we were talking about Sal Oliveri. Brody, I've spent a lot of time with Brody in the last 2 days here cutting down all the footage.
He's never met Brody, but he spent an hour and a half with him.
Right. The footage that Pat brought back. And I got to tell you, like, I'm not chopping it up. This is with another conversation we're having. You guys could tell us maybe after, you see some of this stuff. He brings me 30 minutes of footage back. I put 30 minutes of footage out. Yeah. I'm not doing a lot of chopping of it. I know people want 5-minute videos on one hand. So
I can't say hi in 5 minutes. So ask my wife; she'll tell you.
The goal now is to put timestamps on.
Yeah.
You pick the parts you want to watch, and I'm putting it all out there, kind of.
And part of we're jumping all over. We're throwing up all over Joe and Brian, but part of that was we wanted to start conversations, right? So now we have a segment called "We Asked for This" because we've only had a couple negative comments, and one was like, "I waited 10 minutes for you guys to play on this video. Bye." But we had a really good friend with us that day, and we were talking about gear, but we didn't get to the playing. So to that point, we're not going to really change who we are, but Jason's trying to make it easier for people who want to just see a certain part of the video that you might not have to just scrub till you randomly find it. You can look at the timestamps and get down to business. So I just
Joey said he's a metalcore screamo, kind of the screamo stuff. That's cool. I mean, yeah, it's music.
I had a friend
cool.
whose son was into it too, man. I was just like, I went and watched him play live to support him, and again, the vocal part, not so much. This was a kid I knew, since he was like 10, and I'm watching him at 15 just like screaming. I'm like, I know your parents. They're nice people. What happened to you? But the band, like Jason said, the drummers in screamo bands are just ridiculous.
Right. I mean, it's easy to listen. So, one of the other field trips we did, so the other night, and I know that there's been some pictures. I think, Brian, you commented on the picture of that, oh man, Michael Dolan guitar.
Yeah, good job pulling that out of the fire because I couldn't help you.
Yeah, it was hard. But the gentleman's house we went to is a guy named Ray Santana. So in the next couple weeks, somewhere, next week, 2 weeks,
we have got 6 25 to 30 minute videos in queued up. And we're not going to try to hit you with them every week.
Right. Ray's are I cut his up into parts, so it's a little bit shorter. But he thank you, man. Thank you, Brian, for liking long videos, especially if we deep dive into a pedal, which we don't. Maybe we do. I don't.
We talk a lot. If that's a deep dive, I like it.
So, anyway, Ray was like, guy that went out to the Blues Jam, was involved in that scene when I started playing music. And so here's how cool Ray is. This 335 that Pat's holding right now. No, we can't start there. We got to start here.
No, we're going to start somewhere else because,
this is how cool Ray is. I was telling Ray I want a hollow body.
I'm playing authentic, by the way.
I'm not.
So sue us, Mark Agnesi. Come after us! Because I'd like to meet you. Anyway, sorry.
I was telling Ray I want a hollow body, and he comes to me, and he says, hey, I got a hollow body I think you'll like. And hands me a case, take it home and play it. Take it home, try it out. Keep it for a while. See what you like. And it was this. This is a Guild Starfire 4, and I meant to look up because I always forget the dates on these. I want to... One's kind of late 80s and one's early 80s, or I think this might be earlier 80s and this might be...
I think you said this was in 87.
I think that's 87. Maybe this is 83. But it's a Guild Starfire 4. I got it for Open E. Pulled the action up on a little bit. It's in standard. It should be in standard tuning right now. I don't play it a lot, and so the strings were fighting me a little bit tonight. Yeah, Brian, that guitar is sick. And I don't know if you saw the comment where Ray said that he was... that I played it more last night than he played it the last year, and now he's thinking about it. So I'll keep working on him. But this is the first one he sold me. And like I said, pulled the pick guard up, raised the action a little bit, Open E. This was the Open E slide guitar. Either this or an old SG when we were doing this blues band for years. And this thing with a slide screams. And so after he sold me that, time goes by. I had bought a Fender Vibrolux reissue that I hated. Hated it. And then I was telling Ray, I don't like it. He's like, I want it. So he trades me a Fender Vibrolux reissue. I traded a Mesa Boogie Rectoverb for it. I had a Mesa. And that... So I maybe had like 900... I think knew they were like $900. I think I gave him $900 and $600. The amp and $600 for this guitar. So this was the next one he sold me. 87 Gibson 335. Probably from... Don't quote me on this. This is where we get into our factual, non-factual stuff. These might be Shawbuckers.
Okay.
That era, the Tim Shaw era. They are a little lower output. They sound fabulous. So that was the next guitar. And then...
That was supposed to make it sound fabulous.
He pops in one night, this is over this course of several years, and says, hey, leave the dust on that. He says, hey, a friend of mine gave me this. I think it would be cool for slide. take it. Just gave it to me. Which you're not going to be super thrilled. It is probably 70s. I don't know. The focus on the camera can't be on when we live stream, so I can't hold it up in focus. But it is a 70s made in Italy Vox guitar. If you could see it on there, do you see it?
Have you seen a horse that has to go to the glue factory?
Yeah, it's like
between those pickups. It's like the hump between two camels.
Yeah, it's like caving in a little bit between the pickups. But this is stock. This weird, like cut out. That's stock because I've seen some other ones like that. It's a cool guitar though. There's like some. That's in opening, right? So there's some cool stuff going on with that. Anyway, comments. I saw somebody wrote.
Yeah, Brian. I think did we see his Gretsch Hollow Body in one video of him or something? And then, Joe, I appreciate you hanging in, man, because like, not your cup of tea music wise, not your cup of tea guitar wise, but you're hanging with us, and we appreciate that. And we'll have to see to diversify our channel and friends. We'll have to see if we have some people in different genres at times we can bring in.
But Joey,
yes,
Joe,
yes,
we did do a review of a diesel pedal.
We did. Ooh, yeah.
The perfect. We had no idea what to do with it. Absolutely zero idea what to do with it. You'd probably love it. It's a diesel pedal, probably great for that genre. And I guess what are you playing, man? What is your cup of tea as far as guitar
what guitars
goes?
you play, what amps, and so that diesel pedal, I did go to Drop D and play like the 6 Drop D hooks that I know. And then I don't know if we put it out yet, but the Friedman ODBE pedal was pretty gain-tastic. I don't know if we put that out yet, but
The Friedman's not out yet.
But definitely go back and look at the diesel one, and then you probably could tell us what we could have done with it. That was the loudest pedal.
Then the other thing in here, Brian, that Gretsch you got is sick. I saw that. He did a video of him playing Banks of the Deep End, I think it was, from Government Mule. And he was using a love pedal to do it, and it's a love pedal that we, believe it or not, it's one we don't have. What? And the tone, man, that you had was dead on. It sounded great. Like the first chord you had, I knew where you were going. So how did that go on the gig, man? How did you like that on the gig?
And then Joe, like what guitars do you like to play? Are you playing 7 strings? You play high gain amps? Like what do you like to play? Why we keep so he gave you that guitar. He sold you that guitar.
Right, so I have 3 hollow bodies down here.
And they're all from him. And
they're all from Ray's
various
house.
price points.
Right, so I mean...
From free to not so free, but very unbelievable price.
Right, if you... you're talking... This guitar I've seen on Reverb recently, I mean, same year, same color. The natural finish like that's typically a $100 upgrade. You're talking probably $3,500 to $4,000 guitar right now. Right. So maybe when he sold it to me, because I've probably had it for 15 years... Maybe, but I can't imagine it's changed that much.
So I could pick up. So I've always wanted EMGs, and I've never pulled the trigger because I'm a big Steve Lukather fan, and he's always had EMGs on a lot of his different guitars.
I've never played EMGs, man.
I've wanted them, and I've never, like the 8185s, I think they're called, different ones, and I've just never...
There's a couple things out there that I've never... strangely enough, I've never played through a Tube Screamer, right?
Still? I guess you were just you pushed the buttons on them.
Right, but I've never plugged in or taken it out and played live with a Tube Screamer. But it was Joe that said that he wants to learn more jazz and blues and the bends. So there's so many great guys out there. If you want to learn some blues stuff to listen to, oh my gosh, I mean, where would you even start? But you can't go. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Well, you mentioned Brian mentioned. You mentioned Government Mule.
Right. Well, if you want that kind of stuff, though, well, not the jazz part, but the blues part, the 3 Kings, right? Freddie King, Albert King, and B.B. King. And I love B.B. King, but if you're gonna put as far as my personal preference, Freddie's probably at the top. Go watch some YouTubes of Freddie King killing it, man. And then bends, if you wanted to see how not to bend a string and do it so well that it just kills you, go watch Buddy Guy, right? He'll bend that string up over the top of the guitar and down the back, and Buddy Guy is right there. Freddie, BB, and Albert and Buddy Guy. Especially if you get I like some of the later Buddy Guy stuff where they actually let him play.
Yeah.
Buddy guy went into the studio, turned his amp up, got it all distorted, and they told him to turn that crap off. Nobody wanted to hear it. It was awful. And then Jimi Hendrix goes in the studio and records it. Everybody gets crazy. If they would have let Buddy Guy record the way he wanted to, he would have been Jimi Hendrix. And that's not coming from me. That's coming from Jimi Hendrix. You know, that's like what he would say. So,
yeah, drop C. Fixed bridge, because drop C is probably fun to try to keep in tune when you're banging away. And 11 to 56. Yeah, some of the guitars we played when we were over at your friend Ray's house, he said they had 11s on them, and that's a meaty string.
Yeah, well, they can't tell him that PRS Hall body.
Yeah, we'll get into that later, I guess. So we talked about...
Cut through the mix like a chainsaw. I like that, Brian.
So we talked about my trip to Nashville. Some of those videos are coming up. Talked about the field trip to Ray's. So both of those are all multi-segment, multi-parts.
I should show Brian my Gretsch.
You could show him, yeah. It is very sparkly.
I'll show you my Gretsch, Brian.
We'll find out if your wife is actually watching when you hear a scream from upstairs.
She doesn't like the Gretsch.
Yeah, so we're here. There's other guitars back on the wall, but he's going to go grab this one.
Joe, you'll love this one. This is a true metal band guitar right here. This is a drop C. This is my Gretsch, Brian. But I know what you mean about cutting through these pickups that are in the Gretches are awesome. They sound great. And we've had this on the live Facebook Live. We've talked about. I played this because this was hung in a guitar store for so long that the guy dropped it to $150. And at that point, even a gold sparkle guitar will come out. So, the Gretsch. That was before I was married.
Yeah. Yup.
So Ben.
So. Well, make us get the green Strat out.
There it is. There's my wife crying. I have two guitars down here that she hates.
And I kind of like one of them. So this week,
hot down here?
It's a little hot. It's the nerves of being live. It's the nerves of actually having a conversation.
I'm not sure if it's the nerves of having a conversation or being live as much as the rush to get here on time and then have it not working. But it shouldn't be hot down here.
I don't know.
Maybe my wife should stop making sad faces and go check the air conditioning and make sure it's turned up.
Well, you know you're about to go on vacation if something major happens at the house, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. First, like the front door not working right.
So, I don't know when you want to get to that, how long you want to tease this out, but like clearly the guys that chimed in tonight subscribe to the channel, I'm assuming, I know for sure. And so part of the reason we went to YouTube Live is because after 6 months, 5 months?
Yeah. Well, Joe, how'd you find this? Did you come from the Canucks page? Did I see you over there before? Or Brazil. A lot of people, fans from Brazil. Joe, we're in Pennsylvania. There's like a 30-second lag, so we ask them a question. We gotta wait 30. We gotta talk for 30 seconds before they hear.
That's no problem for me.
Hear the question and respond. Oh look, isn't she lovely? Isn't she lovely?
70
Isn't
degrees.
She wonderful?
Feels like 170.
Yeah. Why don't you knock it down 3 degrees for a minute?
He's the same guy getting his Honda, and I didn't realize because I have a Honda as well that when you dial the temperature back, it goes to 59. Which is almost cold enough. We were driving to our field trip in a Honda with the temperature set to 59. I turned my heated seat on. It was glorious.
That's awesome.
Oh,
yeah. So, Ben, right?
Okay.
So
yeah, I guess if you are on Long Island, you'd have to sell some stuff to move. That's for sure.
So Brian turned me on to the Canucks with Guitars website, and so I'm taking Ben as I think it's Ben Combs that I've been watching some of his lives and watching some of his videos.
You might be headed to Canada.
Yeah, and I think
maybe not this trip, but
I think he'll be in Nashville. He's going to
NAMM.
He's going to NAMM,
which I think is coming up this week. I lost track because it moves. Right. And next year, though, we might be coming live from NAMM. If we had it our way, we'd be coming live from Anaheim. That might be a tough rabbit to pull out of a hat, but maybe. But definitely next summer, we have a very good chance of getting back down to Nashville. Yeah. My secret lair down there will be ripe for a bro week, and it coincides with NAMM. So anyway, we're all over the place, but
yeah. So probably next week. Well, soon I'll be in Canada there. So, hey.
I think you should try.
I'm gonna go there and find out what it's all about. I spend every year going there. So, yeah, Ben seems like a great guy. It's pretty. That's sweet. I'm glad he did, Joe. Thanks for coming and hanging out. This is awesome. I mean, two people. But two people that are into guitars, not like your friends that are wondering why you're live on the, like gawking. It's like rubbernecking at a train accident.
I think I accidentally started a watch party the one week, and a bunch of people chimed in like, "This is great," and then I realized, "Oops, they're not guitar people."
Right. So what else do we have going on? Well, we have the T-shirts. Brian bought a T-shirt.
Get to the after. Is this 5 months? How long has this been? 6 months? 5 months?
It's been a while. Started in January.
Yeah, you do the math. I can't do the math. 6 months.
Here it is. Here it is.
Ta-da! Is this our confetti?
This is it. my son graduated from high school this year. His aunt gave him this, but we can use this. Ready?
We can.
100 subscribers, right? Wait, where's the button? There it is. Can we get a foot switch made for that so we could?
We should. This will be our horn.
This will be our version of the horn
from the pedal shop.
We mentioned Ben Combs. Let's give Ben Combs
yeah, that's right.
There he is. There's a applause for Ben.
I give him a...
And then they mentioned Guitar Hack, so we'll give him one of these too, because Hack had a Les Paul posted the other day. It looks exactly like mine. Same. I don't know if it's the same year, but definitely the same model.
I agree with you, Joe. That's right. Tell a friend.
Well, yeah, Brian, I think we've been doing them. See, the thing is, one of the reasons we're doing this is because we are so busy we never got time to hang out, so our schedules are really goofy. Yeah. But we tend to record on Wednesday night. The plan was to record Wednesday night this week. Of course, Pat had other things going on, but we figured out that we could still get together. So this really isn't post-short. This is not as advertised. It's not post-shoot banter. It's pre-shoot banter.
But at least I was honest. We had a bunch of people over for dinner. We have this open house thing, right? And I'm like, listen, I got to roll. I got to go talk to 2 of our subscribers. And guess who we're talking to? 2 of our subscribers. Our followers. What do we call it? Subscribers on YouTube.
I mean, I can't tell. We can just see the chat. Right. I can't tell if there's anybody else in the room.
Oh, I'm sure there's thousands of waiting voyeurs in the wing.
Well, my wife is in, so we had was in. Half paying attention, so we have 3 people. So yeah, anyway, we got probably most Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we're gonna try to have some level of consistency, or at least at a minimum, do what you did and put something on our social media channels saying, "Hey,
this is what we're doing."
We're gonna try to do some level of consistency, but for a side hustle, we're be as consistent as we can. You started to mention the shirts. I think I cut you off because I do that all the time.
Yeah, that's all right. I like the fact that these 2 guys are plotting to get us more people in the room.
Right.
We appreciate that.
And at least one who ordered a shirt. So.
The T-shirts are cool.
Mine is currently in a lost bag from Allegiant, floating around somewhere on my trip back from Nashville.
#Allegiant.
Yeah, #Allegiant. Love you.
No, I don't. But it's cool because my brother opened a Big Frog store out in Brighton, Michigan. Him and his wife. I think more his wife. His wife and him opened a Big Frog store, which is like a custom T-shirt store. They do, like you can go in with an idea, they'll make it and print it right there, and they can print like full color. It's really cool. They have these really cool machines. I obviously haven't been there yet. He gives me a lot of... They get on me because I haven't come out.
You said Michigan, right?
Yeah, it's in Michigan.
So our idea is to actually open Google and see where he is in Michigan and see where Love Pedal is, and maybe have a field trip where we go, let's check out these T-shirts, and then go over to T-shirt Mike.
Right. So their store is cool because you can get... I mean, they have like designs you can choose from. You can send them designs. So I sent them our logo. They made it up and shipped it to us. And then I started talking to them. They do fundraisers for like Girl Scouts and for, whatever, like, community events and things like that. Do a lot of shirts for that. So they were able to build a store because I was looking at like Teespring and other things, which are awesome services and stuff. But like we have talked about a lot, we like to kind of support local guitar shops, maybe not the big chains. And
although we try not to.
Right. Which I'm sure I'll buy shirts from, Teespring or whatever it is. But I thought it would be kind of cool to support what they're doing out there because they're knocking it out of the park. They're having a good time. They're supporting their community, do a lot of community stuff, and they can make our shirts and ship them. Cool.
I was going to see if we could test them and see if I can get a shirt by Saturday because part of what I'm doing is twice a year in our wonderful Commonwealth here in Pennsylvania. B3 Vintage Guitars puts on guitar shows in Philly. My friend Brody, who I was in Nashville, we used to go in July and August, try to go twice a year. So the July show is coming up this Saturday, and because my partner here is going to be in Canada, my wife is getting drug along to a guitar show, which we talk about. We started this channel so we could not bug them with gear, but we've talked about some ideas and kicked some stuff around, so there is a level of interest on her part to see what does this look like, what do you do. So she's getting a trip to Philly out of it. I'm not sure where else it'll go, but so Saturday I'm going to try to take a camera and just shoot some stuff, some interesting guitars. It's an unbelievable show. It's huge. It's way back in the day where I met Cesar Diaz, which we did the Diaz Travadillo pedal. It's just like everywhere else. You never know who's going to show up. You never know what you're going to see. So I'm looking forward to it, going Saturday. So we'll try to get some footage out of that.
See what my wife is missing. My wife could be there with you. We could be going together. She's probably like darn.
Instead, you're going to be in a rowboat in Canada and take a picture of geese or something.
Right. She's probably very sad. Yeah, Brian, I would love an interview with Shawn Michaels, too. Actually, you know who I'd like to interview is Sebastian.
Oh, yeah. Falvo.
Falvo?
The one who does all of
the other guy that does all the love pedal. He's sick.
He's great. And Danish Pete. Watch Danish Pete. We're talking to you. We're coming for you, Danish Pete. Dude, yeah, no, but definitely Sebastian is the reason. So he introduced me to Love Pedal. Sebastian's the reason I purchased everyone that I purchased, because you just go watch one of his videos, you go, I'll take that.
Right. I never sound like him, but
right, exactly.
So it says there's 6 people. Brian says there's 6 people in here.
Oh, they're creepers. That's fine.
Well, I mean, creepers are cool, but say hi, so we know you're here. That'd be cool. A little hello.
How you doing?
I know it's kind of intimidating. You get in a live room just to say hello out of nowhere, but it's intimidating when there's like 500 people doing it. There's 2. That's right. Don't be intimidated.
We're just happy we're not talking to ourselves, because we definitely have had those moments. There we go. There's a bend for you. So I think we got a couple. There's a pedal on that board down there that I don't know. It gets a little blurry. Listen, I'm not trying to sound like rock stars, but it gets a little blurry for me as to what we put out and what we haven't, because when he uploads something, because he does all the editing, all the heavy lifting, he puts it out on the channel, and I can see everything, and sometimes I don't realize what's out and what's not out, right? And then I was traveling for 7 days. I'm trying to create content. He's back here creating content. So has that come out? Did you do that real quick?
Now, I did an unboxing of it.
Yeah, but not a full.
Just with me while you're away.
Yeah.
I figured if you're going out there getting all that love to yourself, we'll do something on my own. So I did an unboxing of it. It's not out. Will be.
So, yeah. Yeah. All right, Joe. They get 499 of your friends next time, and we'll be all over it. It does, Brian. We appreciate that, and you have been honestly I'm not trying to be goofy, but your interaction with us on social media and on YouTube has been inspiring to us. It's wow, we're actually talking to somebody.
Right.
Somebody's giving us information. We're trying to push information to you. So like I said, fan wasn't the best word to use, but supporter, friend, and
right.
So we appreciate that. It does inspire us to keep doing, even though our mission has been accomplished. We play together at least once a week and get to try new stuff. But this is a part that we really wanted to have.
So that is I feel like that amp is gonna need service.
Yeah.
That is the full tone Super Trim Junior. And then up here, over there, which you probably can't see that, but over there next to your Caesar Tremodillo is the Red Mountain Swindler Effects. Okay. So the Red Mountain Swindler Effects is what I've been using. I'm thinking about switching to this. So I think if we had recorded tonight, which we didn't, but we'll be recording probably tomorrow. Yeah. We're gonna use the Tremodillo as here's the Holy Grail tone, because oh my gosh, it is the Holy Grail. If tremolo pedals, if you didn't see the tremolo pedal, the Joyo versus Cesar Diaz episode we did, go watch that because the Cesar Diaz is ridiculous. So that's the Holy Grail tone. Which of these two pedals gets closer? Which has the functions I like? One thing, I really, really like that the Cesar Diaz does, that this one does, is that
yeah, you can change the rate. It like doubles it or cuts it in half, whichever. So Joe asked about your amp. It's a Fender
Hot Rod.
Oh yeah, deluxe. So it's
deluxe. It's a 112 40 watt Fender. And I think they get kind of a bad rap. Like everybody's always looking for
deluxe or other something else.
The older kind of the deluxes, the Princetons, especially old ones. One thing I've always found though, if I plug into a Hot Rod, I have the sound I want. And I've seen a lot of guys on rig rundowns that are using them because you can go into any. If you're getting backline, they're easy backline.
Right.
Joe said, Joyo fan. Joe, I think you're kind of new, right? So if you haven't seen, to what we're doing, if you haven't seen the episode on the Joyo JP 100 or whatever, it's a pedal board power pack.
Wireless.
That's battery powered, so you don't have to, like right now, the pedal board I'm using with a couple pedals on it isn't plugged into an outlet because it has that wireless thing on it. It's totally killer. It's like $70. There's probably if you watch that video, there's probably a link to it in the description too. Killer. Yeah, I'm a Joyo fan too. Cheap and it works well.
So the amp I'm playing through is a PV Classic 3112 combo. It's Jason's, but I have one and I have the head. I have a lot of the. We should do a segment on the Classic series because. My friend Brody, I was in Nashville with, kind of turned me on to them, and I've got the 30 watt head, I've got the combo, I've got a 112, I've got 410, I got a 15.
Right.
They make a 20 watt head that I would love to get. So PV, I found these PV tube amps to be really bang for your buck, a fantastic amp. So when we're down here trying to do what we do, whatever that is, we want some level of consistency, right? So that's Jason's kind of real comfortable go-to amp. He kind of knows the amp isn't a factor, right? Like, as you know. And so that's why we brought the PV Classic 30 for me to play. Because if we're trying out a new pedal, and I'm playing sometimes one of his guitars, those are comfortable shoes that are sitting off camera over there for us. So,
Brian, if you just need a tremolo.
Yeah, that's right.
What was,
it was like $35?
I don't want to quote it, but yeah, 30, 20.
Can't be much.
20, it might have been 20. Like, it's cheaper to buy this new on Amazon than it is to buy it on Reverb used, more or less. So it's a Joyo tremolo pedal. If you just need tremolo and you don't care about like tap tempo and stuff, that's it. What's kind of cool is it's supposed to be a Cesar Diaz clone, and so you can watch that video and see how close you think they sound. The thing it's missing is the half cut button, and then I can't figure out how to use tremolo without a tap tempo. So that's the episode that we'll be shooting probably tomorrow is jumping up to pedals that will give you a little bit more functionality. I haven't got deep into the full tone yet, but the price I got it for used, I mean, if I keep the full tone and sell the Swindler, I'll make money. In my wife's reasoning, when she goes to a sale, and it's 50% off.
Right,
she saved money.
Okay.
She didn't spend 50%.
I had an uncle told me you can go broke going to sales. I don't listen to him either. So yeah, Joe. So you said you got a fuzz, noise gate, and delay from them. I mean, I think I heard my first Joyo pedal here from you, because you have the little delay too, the yellowfin. Is that a Joyo?
Yeah, that's a Donner.
Okay, I lied. So Donner, Joyo, all of those.
Mooer.
And even we did a Kaleen overdrive. Kaleen. So these are ones that, like, these pedals, the technology is becoming easier and easier to replicate, cheaper to make.
I don't know.
So, again, I feel like this is one giant plug for the channel. But to that point, JHS Pedals, who we love watching those reviews, and he talks more about other people's pedals than his own pedals. He went through the whole Behringer line, and we alluded to the fact earlier. I have an 80s TS-808, and we put that up against the $25 Behringer pedal, and it was like, I'm not sure I could hear the difference, and thank God I only had 50 into my
right,
instead of the 500, or there'd be one person on this show because I would have jumped off a building. So anyway, just to that point, Joe, some of these companies are making really, really good pedals, and I think it's a Joyo.
Enough of my wife. Because I love you, honey.
So I gotta go back and look at Brian. So you have both of those, Brian?
Right, and so
yeah. The Sunzeras too are great.
I almost bought the Supro Blues King. They were having a sale at BCR, and I was so close to buying it. I have a Marshall Origin 50 over there that gets no love. I'm thinking about selling that, and Brian, that might become... And I really messed up, because the other day somebody had a 15-watt Supro. I'm trying to think of the model.
Or was it the one you sent me?
Yeah, it was volume, tone, tremolo, and reverb, 15-watt Supro, and they had dropped it to, like, it was on Facebook Marketplace. They dropped it to like $600, and it started around $9. And I kind of went back and forth on whether I wanted to get into the whole calling the guy or not, and he sold it like that. I mean, so I messed up on that.
So, Brian, one other thing we'll probably do as well is I put together... So we play at church together, and we have two campuses. So one is more of a permanent building where we have our big pedal boards, and I built more of a travel board. And on that, I have several of the more, the Spark, the really small like pedals. So we'll do a thing on them as well. I have the overdrive, I have the distortion, and I have the tremolo.
Really?
And they're literally like a match pack, a little bigger.
Is the Mueller Solar one of those?
No, but that's another one of those.
Are the Sparks Mueller?
Yeah.
Are they Mueller?
So that's one. I'm just saying that's another point of the of those brands that we're kind of talking about. Yeah. So we're gonna keep going through stuff that we have, stuff that people, and again, the more questions we get.
Is that so, Joey? You like the Vox AC series for metal? Are you using those for metal? Because I don't know. When I think I'm such a newbie, man. I've never played a two screamer, and I've never really played a Vox amp. And we played a Vox amp in a music store one day with you.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And it sounded great, but I wouldn't think of metal.
No.
But I mean,
you could drive any amp, I guess.
So okay, we're sitting down with Ray Santana. Those videos are coming out. Super eclectic collection. The guy has, like, you know where I'm going, right?
I do.
He has mandolins. He has dobros, basses, guitars, you name it. If pedals, not pedal seals, but lap seals, you name it. If there's some like weird instrument you want to play, it's probably in his basement. And his whole thing, the whole night, was you can play any genre of music on any instrument. So if you're using a Vox for metal, yeah, like it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter.
So just a funny story, and I'm not gonna get the quote exactly right, but so I met Ray for the first time. I'd heard a lot about him. I played these guitars, and we go in, and he's telling a story about walking into a blues jam with a mandolin, and it was almost like the needle came off the record, and they're like, "Son, we don't play bluegrass or country around here," and he goes, "Neither does this mandolin."
Yes. There's some good stories in there. The one story in that video, when you see it, I think it's part one. There's a story in there that I think needs to be a T-shirt. We'll see if anybody else feels the same way.
That may be the second T-shirt available on our site.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm seeing all the names and things you're throwing around. Part of what I started to get at, and I don't make points very quickly, was that some of these things, between our friends who own music stores and friends who have a lot of gear, if there's something that we hear that somebody might want to hear, we might be able to get our hands on those things and bring them in.
Yeah.
Whether it be an AC or a Sir or something.
Well, I don't know that anybody has Sirs around here. Does anybody has it?
I don't know.
Not to be Debbie Downer.
So I throw out one name. Okay, but they don't have that.
AC maybe. Chris has that jazz chorus amp over there.
Yeah, that Roland. Yeah.
Oh man.
So Azar, that's one I haven't heard, but yeah, there's another $20 pedal. So I don't know. We're game for. You'll see everything from Jason's King of Tone that he waited 2 years the second time to get one, to the Donner yellowfin delay, to a Diaz pedal, to an original 808, whatever.
Yeah.
We're just interested in trying out gear. And
well, the last episode we put out on pedals was reverb.
Right, 4 different ones at 4 different price points.
So if we jump up a little bit more. And I don't know how well this, because these aren't plugged in.
So, real quick, and we are all over the map. I'm sorry, that's going to be the quote for tonight. And I don't like to talk about the big box stores, but you go into them every once in a while, especially when you're in Nashville. That's a pretty impressive Guitar Center, right? So we go rolling into a Guitar Center because my friend Brody, we didn't do a pedal board review of him because he is a wire guy, like a Gibson or a Fender, wire into a Fender amp or a PV amp. So there's no pedals, but he plays at church and you got guys dancing over the pedals. So we wanted to find out about Shimmer. I talked about Shimmer. I talked about Canyon delay, and I have one. And so we took a little trip and went into the Guitar Center. And while we were there, our friend of ours may or may not have bought a 76 Jazz Bass original. But we go in and I'm trying to show him the.
Not to interrupt.
Yes. What happened? What are you pointing at?
Brian.
Yes.
Got to take off.
Whoa.
Driving an 18-wheeler and show good. I'm not gonna ask. I mean, if he's driving and watching, cool. I'm not gonna ask how you're talking to us, but Brian, appreciate you hanging out for a little bit, man.
Eastbound or down, loaded up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can't be done. You got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So run on, Brian, run.
That's nice.
We'll do custom songs for people too.
So back to Shimmer.
So we're gonna go try this Canyon because he wants to hear Shimmer, but he was kind of like playing chords and chopping it because like when you're trying out a reverb pedal or a delay, you do the chop. Which if you go back and watch ours, that's what Jason was doing. You get to the end and you're like, where's the tail, right? So he kept doing that, and eventually I got him to do more picking and stuff. And there were 2 or 3 people that stopped over while we were doing that. And the one guy goes, and again I have to use a southern accent because we were in Tennessee.
Ooh, sorry.
What happened? Could you hear myself saying? So anyway, we're in the Guitar Center. We're trying out the Electro Harmonics Canyon. I've got it set to the Shimmer. Brody kind of finally figured it out. So he wasn't doing swells, but single note stuff. And some guy goes, "Were you the ones playing that Angel pedal?" So it's not Shimmer anymore; it's Angels.
It's the Angel pedal.
Yeah. So when you hit that note and looked up, like looking around, it's like, you the one boys playing that Angel pedal. I think I could have sold about 12 Canyons to Guitar Center that day because unless you played in the worship space, I don't know how many people have really heard Shimmer. Like you're not gonna hear it. But when you're sitting there with a guitar, which I did pull a PRS off the wall just for fun, to do that through their crappy Black Star amp. But so anyway, it's just the Angel pedal.
500 miles a night. Actually, Brian, my oldest son is driving
500 miles.
So he just got a CDL about.
Did he really?
Yeah, Josh got a CDL.
Oh, Josh. Yeah, okay.
They're driving all over the country right now, picking stuff up and moving stuff around. So yeah, the Shimmer pedal is a interesting. What was that riff you were playing earlier?
There's
there's 6 people watching.
Okay.
Brian and Joe are the only two cool enough to say hi to us. My wife. So, let's play the riff for a little bit and see if anybody else will say hello.
I think, how can I focus on playing when Brian says he knows a guy who's a master builder at the private stock at PRS?
We're not worthy. What's the Wayne's word? We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Which we're part of that PRS Guitar Owners Worldwide. There are some ridiculous guitars that show
Man, do you feel like sometimes they're almost too much?
Sometimes they are, and then occasionally you get like a doctor or a lawyer on there who's got like 5 or 6 or 7 of them. You're like, they're like 15, 20,000 pop, and they're just over the top.
I mean, yeah, they have like the flame, like the neck, like they're stained up the fretboard, like it goes from black down here with inlays in it up to like red up here.
Well, it's like when they did the Dragons back in the day; they would do different variations.
I mean,
of that.
It was kind of, gaudy in and of itself, but like then you get like, there was a red one I saw the other day. It was red down here. And it like went up the neck into red. It had like red tuning pegs on it and a big red decal on it. Or maybe it started red down here and went to black and then had these. I don't remember.
Was it the Graveyard series?
But it wasn't the Graveyard.
Okay, it was a custom.
It was a custom one, and it was. I don't know.
We love Brian. Your wife Brian doesn't like Brian so much. Yeah, Joe, I agree with you, man. They are art. They're some of the most attractive guitars. They're just
right.
I mean.
Don't get me wrong. I love them. I have 4 of them hanging right there. Love them.
It's almost like when I.
But some of them, you almost wouldn't want to play them.
Sure, and it's almost too much to take. I don't know. I went to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra for the first time about 10 years ago, and I'm sitting at the Ring at our local arena, and all those lasers, all those lights, all the pyrotechnics, all the intricate music. After about 25 minutes, I'm like, I don't think I can take anymore. It was just sensory overload. And sometimes when I look at those private stock guitars, I'm just like, that's too much to take in. Like, that's insane. Like,
insane.
Not in a bad way, but just like after a while, you're like, that top, I think I'm going to be hypnotized if I look at it much longer. So.
Yeah, they're nuts. Beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, if you came in and said, would you like this? It would be, but...
I think, like, if this goes well, we'll have a PJ in the Beard PRS private stuff.
inlaid.
Yeah,
with a
maybe
dragon.
down the neck, like maybe down the neck with the logo, and like maybe
we had to pick a name that's probably too. No, it'd probably fit.
Yeah, so
you could inlay it like Joe Bonamassa inlays his, like instead of saying Joe Bonamassa, it's saying PJ in the beard.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Then you'd be looking for the 12th fret. That's the E.
Yeah, that's Jason's beard.
Yeah, Brian, who can afford to buy one of those?
Right. Well, going to PRS guitar owners worldwide, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, there's people I guess that can, but mine.
Yeah, that's sort of in our backyard. We've been to the factory, and you'll never be able to take a camera in there, but we've been to the factory, and
we went last summer.
Yeah, it was a great tour.
Pre-show.
It was, or we would have been arrested because we would try to smuggle a camera in there. But they have their PRS experience that maybe I think sometime they explained to us that. You know, they'll go to Anaheim, in NAMM in Anaheim, the big show in there. But they figured for the amount of money that we're spending to go to Nashville, they just started doing the PRS experience instead of that. So mid-year, instead of going to NAMM, they have their own PRS experience at the factory.
What months do they do that?
It's got to be summertime, so I'm going to have to figure out. Maybe we missed it. I'm not sure, but
I haven't seen anything.
There's just some big-name people that come and play, and the endorsed artists are there, and Paul is there, and some of the people that we follow on social media on YouTube are there, and you know when you get up to 500,000 subscribers, you get to interview Paul. So
this is true.
We're 1 millionth away from that, but
right,
yeah,
that's interesting. I mean, that we get because we hit 100 subscribers 2 days ago, or was it yesterday? We hit 100 subscribers yesterday, and today we've added a bunch since then, which is amazing. I mean. Pretty cool. Who knew, right?
That's right.
No.
So maybe speaking of custom shirts, maybe it'll be like from breeding reptiles to blowing up the internet.
So Joey, did you subscribe?
Yes.
If you didn't, we'd appreciate it. We want a roasted maple neck.
We're gonna wind up on a different website if you say that again. Yeah, we've talked about Harley Benton. Maybe privately, maybe not on the show, but
yeah, I would like to find 2 other people in central Pennsylvania that want to order them. You can order 3. Here's the deal. This is my discovery. You can order 3 Harley Bentons for $33 shipping to the U.S. So you order 1, it's $33 shipping. You order 3, it's $33 shipping. And they have that new Junior. And then Firefly Guitars has the new Junior. And I'd love to get a Firefly and a Harley Benton and kind of just A-B them. And they're in a price range, like Joey said, they have great deals. They're in a price range that you can do that. So, I was thinking about it. But it would be cool to find 2 other people that would...
Right. Maybe one that doesn't live on Long Island and already own one, but...
Right. What we should do is get one of their hollow bodies and order a set of those Charlie Christian pickups.
Yeah, I feel like this is a confessional. Like, my mind was blown yesterday. It's funny, like, again, I'm plugging another video, but not just only because they talked about it. So my friend Brody is like, every guitar he has is stock, right? He's like, that's the way the creator intended it, and whether that be God or Paul Reed Smith or Gibson. So I've never modified, I can't say never, but like a high-end guitar. Like, you get a PRS and people are popping out these pickups, and I'm like, man, he has worked so hard on these pickups, and he's married it to the wood and the shape and the scale length and all of the stuff, and then people rip them out and throw in lollers. I'm like, what is wrong with these people? So we go over to Ray Santana's house yesterday, and he's got a hollow body guy, which is like my favorite thing. I have a hollow body single cut, and he's got a McCarty, I guess. I couldn't figure out what it was because it didn't have the badge up here, but it looked like a McCarty. And he had Lawler Charlie Christians in there, and he had changed the tone pot cap, and he had put in 2 Lawler Charlie Christians, and even without plugging it in, the guitar itself was pretty magical without plugged in. And then he made me plug it in, and I played it, and my mind was blown. And I'm like, so my theory before was, take a nice pickup and upgrade a guitar that's not that good. Like, make that guitar better. But playing that PRS unplugged and the way it was set up and the way it played, it made complete sense in my mind for a moment of $600 worth of new pickups in this magical guitar made it even more magical. I'm not going to go be yanking out the Starla pickups out of my hollow body single cut, but those Lawler Charlie Christians were the real deal. I know we see that all the time on the Praise and Worship forums, on the PR, not so much on the PRS forums, but Lawler. So I became a Lawler fan last night.
What Harley Benton single cut do you own? I was looking at they have 2 gold tops, one with humbuckers in it, and one with P90s in it. And get this, the one with the humbuckers in it was like $109 or something. The one with P90s was more, like $150. I don't know, somewhere between 1 and 2. Humbuckers closer to 1, P90s was closer to 2. I'm thinking, how can you do like a guitar like that,
right,
for that price? And the reviews on them are good. Joey, we can't talk about it right now.
Did I mention earlier I'm playing authentic? SE 1000, okay.
Right on.
Nice.
Yeah, I never owned a guitar with just one pickup in it. It's like the pickup I use the least, the bridge, but I have this ever since somebody handed me a junior, an old junior. So here's the plan. Talking to Joe because I don't think anybody else is there. Or they're just not telling us they're there. The lurkers. Here's the plan, Joe. Buy a Harley Benton or a Firefly double cut junior, 1 pickup. There's a company in Lancaster, which is right down the road from us, called Dax & Co. DAX & Company, I believe. And Dax & Co. relics guitars.
Okay.
They do serious relicking of guitars. If you get on Reverb and search Dax & Co., you can see some of it. They don't always have guitars up, but you can probably... Or I think they have a website, Dax & Co. But their relic jobs look really good. Think Nash guitars and stuff like that. Okay. So the plan would be buy a $130 guitar, review it on the show, take it to Dax & Co., interview them, have them relic, and I'm sure they're not going to let us see how they relic it. Mm-hmm. That's all like trade secret stuff. Have them relic and then review the relic.
And then sell it for charity. And then on the way over, we'll tie...
then they'll probably love it and not want to get rid of it.
We'll tie a guitar to our bumper, relic a guitar on the way over. Yeah, so... well, the other thing you talk about, you get into juniors. We know a couple people with some 50s juniors that we could compare that to.
Oh, yeah.
Which that would be like the Travadillo versus the Joyo, but...
You never know.
Yeah.
Brian's listening, but he got his hands full. I think that would be fun.
It'd be fun. Yeah.
I think it would be fun. I don't know how much they charge to do a relic, like a full relic job on a guitar. And do you want to spend $130 on a guitar and then spend $150 to have somebody relic it? But the thought of taking, like, I have a Fender Telecaster, a made in Mexico Fender Telecaster that I've thought many times, like, that would be the one I should have relicked. But every time I just can't. Like,
I've got one too. I've got a Sunburst Mexican guitar.
Here's my guitar beat that's not out of it. I just can't.
But they won't do anything structurally to it. So I don't know. That's interesting. We both have tellies that we could sacrifice to the altar of relic.
Somebody handed me a Telecaster. I was playing a Blues Society picnic, Treasures picnic, and this old blues cat, awesome player, comes up and hands me an old Telecaster. I'm guessing 60s. The edges were so, like, all the paint's off, all the varnish is off the back. Mm-hmm. The edges felt rotten. You know how like wood starts to feel rotten. The edges felt rotten on it. It looked, and all I got to do was like take it and just. And I've never forgotten that guitar. Never forgotten. I mean, I literally played it for maybe 30 seconds standing behind the stage, like, here, check this out. Oh, boom, boom, couple notes, hand it back, and we're probably 15 years later, I'm still going, that was the coolest guitar I've ever touched. You know, that thing was...
I'd have to say that if you watch the episode that when it comes out of the Collector's Choice with my friend Brody, I played one of the ultimate relics. It was the Love and Spoonful 59 Burst, one of the first 5 that was done for that. And it has the marks on it. It has the right weight. It has the weak pickups in it. That was an ultimate relic as far as like copying an actual 59.
Right.
And it was pretty magical. I mean, it's not like the rotten wood on the back like you were saying that you have that feel, but
there's guitars that you touch. There's like moments in time. These like guitars, music that you hear that just like hits you and it just stays there. Like, man, like.
So Brian's throwing down some stuff here. What if we did like a Skype, and we'll put on some smocks with the PJ and the Beard logo on it, and we'll lay some guitars out on tables, and we'll Skype Brian and be like, have some sandpaper, be like, now what do we do? We'll relic them live.
Well, you gotta like, what do you gotta do, Brian? You gotta like heat it with the hair dryer, and then hit it with the compressed air upside down so it freezes. And what was it?
Where did we see that?
Danish Pete.
Danish Pete relic one of his guitars. Much I think the captain was like, what are you doing? Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we have other stuff coming up here. What do we do? You've got a vacation coming up, and I just sort of came off of one. And,
so there's episodes. There's the little unboxing I did of the trem pedal that will probably come out shortly before the... I would say shortly before the actual video on the tremolo pedals comes out. So that's coming. There's some reverb things we want to do. I think we're going to do... I don't know if you can see it in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're going back and doing the Tagima again. Because we did it kind of focused on a particular style.
By the way, we're huge in Brazil. I just want to tell you, we are the David Hasselhoff of Brazil.
Right.
What David Hasselhoff is to Germany, we are to Brazil. Just kidding. But they're made in Brazil, and we got a lot of traction from people in Brazil. And I have a friend who just bought the Stratocaster version of the Tagima that I'm sure he would be happy to loan to us, and we could go back to the...
Right.
TW61, whatever it's called.
The TW61.
Yeah. So like a Jazzmaster Strat kind of thing.
How do you do $230 guitar? $230 is a $230 Jazzmaster.
Yeah.
And somebody said they were talking about one of the forums that they liked it better than like the J Mascis Jazzmaster or the what are the Player's Choice, whatever the Squires were that were really popular. They like it better, and I gotta tell you, I really like it. I mean, I really do.
Well, that and Joe, you mentioned the Harley Benton with some of the issues, the frets and stuff. We didn't really find any finish issues with that, right? Like,
no, the frets
like
aren't
the fret edges and all of that
sticking out. It feels
that's
great.
a solid guitar. It's the one whose bootay is hanging down a little bit longer than the others behind me.
Whoa, baby, no, that's too much.
Ooh, King of Tone.
Just to hear it. You would get that like... I'm gonna need to practice slide if we're gonna play slide again. It's slipping out of tune too.
That's the name of the song, Slipping Out of Tune.
Slipping out of tune. Slipping out of tune. Yeah, man, Brian, $200, legit guitars. Have you seen these Firefly guitars everybody's raving about? There's tons of YouTube videos on Firefly guitars. There's a whole fan page on Firefly guitars. They're doing hollow bodies, $139. They have red ones, blue burst, gold, green, black. These guys are going crazy over them. Some people are getting them and leaving them as is. Some people are getting them and putting
Lawler Charlie Christians.
Yeah, putting crazy pickups in them. But they're coming out with this. They're coming out with a double cut junior, and I'm buying it. I'm buying it. I don't want to jump on the hollow body bandwagon because why buy a $139 hollow body when I have 4? But I'm giving the double cut. The question is 1 pickup or 2.
I have a 65. My grandfather's. You haven't seen it yet. A 65 with 1 P90 in it. It's my only single pickup guitar. I don't know. Right. You know, Brian, that trick sounds like a jumbo shrimp or military intelligence. First, you got to sand it, and then you got to sand it so it doesn't look like it was sanded. Got it. I can do that.
Jumbo shrimp.
Jumbo shrimp. Well, that's about all the kind of shrimp that is right now.
All right. So where are we at here? I don't even know what time it is.
I don't know. We're at 10:48 is where we are.
So this means this was more than an hour?
Wow. Oh, yeah. We started at 9:30-ish. Well, we thought we started at 9:30. We started at 9:35. Once our studio audience came down the stairs and went, you're not on. You may think you're live, but you ain't.
Look at that.
Hey, look.
Go big or go home. 2.
Yep.
She doesn't realize that she makes 3. Or does she mean 2 hours?
I'm saying, I thought she meant 2 guitars. That's where my mind went. And I said, you shoot for 2 hours? Is that what she said?
Ooh. Oh, she wants me to buy the Harley Benton and the Firefly.
That's how I read it. I don't know. That's why you talk and don't text.
Thanks for permission. She's a beautiful woman. She really is.
Even without the permission, she's a lovely person. And in this channel, you couldn't have paired two more different players as well. Right? You're over there tuning. I'm over here playing every open Andy Summers chord I've ever learned. Ooh, she's a squealing. She got a story to tell, apparently.
Oh, she's saying 2 pickups.
Oh, on 2 different guitars. So that's nice. 2 different pickup configurations on 2 different guitars. Oh, 1 guitar. I see. Okay.
One guitar, 2 pickups. But doesn't that... But everything has... Well, not everything. Some have 3. I have nothing with 1. That should mess with your sense of proportions, right? Because she's very OCD about that stuff.
What do we got left?
We're playing the Grouchy. Something. Good end with that. Ooh. It's not tuned, is it? I just tuned it. See, this is what happens with a $125 guitar. I hope my wife is reading that, Brian. Well, now. I was trying to hit that button and hold it and turn the tuner on.
New pedals.
It amazes me. I'm sitting here fighting with this thinking, why am I fighting with the $150?
You're right. Right. Because you can, right? That was part of the thing, too. Let's play our gear.
That's part of it. Yes.
Let's play. Let's dig deep in the collection. We play the... Like, you joked about the Tagima. You're like, I actually made it through an entire set. Because it was like other guitars you bring, play for one song, and literally not, but throw it to the roadie and give me the PRS. I'm coming back.
Right.
And so to sit here and play your $150 Gretsch is pretty cool. Well, I play your $4,000.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
The Tagima.
I think I played bass last time you played that, and I was really close to it. It sounded good.
It's made it 2 weeks in a row through rehearsal and through...
I was on your side of the stage, and I heard all of it. Well, when I wasn't trying to...
Thanks, Joe.
From Laurel with the 5-string, yeah. Oh, I knocked it out of tune.
Joe.
Yeah. Joe will have to try to find somebody we know that enjoys your genre of guitar and try to find that. I think we probably can. Or we can find some guys that can do some serious sweep playing, and we can get Jim Fagan to come on this show. People's brains will leak out of their head.
Who's that?
He taught at Triple R. Jim played with Savage Bliss. I mean, Jim can, like, you can strum like this. Jim can sweep pick that looks like he's strumming. Jim is a freak of nature. We gotta okay. Note to self: this is now on record. Get Jim Fagan to come in here and play, and I will burn every one of my guitars.
Well, that's the thing. Like, do we want to do that?
And he's a funny guy too. That's a good guy. That might be a good guess.
Well, one of the field trips coming up, not next week, but probably hopefully soon after that. I'm not gonna jinx it by saying, but great guy, great player of electric, slide, mandolin, acoustic,
kilt wearing.
He does a lot of different styles of music and stuff, and I'm really looking forward to getting.
Some people have a kilt by JHS. I think he has a kilt from
by
his clan.
Scotland.
From his clan. yeah, fabulous for sure. A fine human being. Well, is that cup empty? Because I don't know, man. Like it's 11:01.
Yes, I think for the sake of Mrs.
That, and we're going to do this again in about 12 hours or 14 hours.
I think for the sake of the missus, maybe it's time to...
No, this was good. Joe, thanks for hanging there for the duration. And Brian, man, like you've just been, like I said, we're so grateful for people like you that chime in and kind of be like, all right, this wasn't just an idea that was only for us. And it's not like what we're doing is like earth-shattering or we've just invented the wheel or fire, but we just wanted another opportunity for people to connect with players and talk about gear and hear suggestions. Like I said, Brian was the one that suggested kind of the stacking of a couple of the things and ways to... When I get a love pedal or any pedal, there's the gain. Let's do this, and then let's turn the volume back. And Brian suggested that sometimes the love pedals react much better when you go with a gain back and the volume up. So it's great to hear other people's opinion, because one thing we say about this show, these are just the way that we would use these things. Doesn't mean it's the only way that these things can be used. Doesn't mean it's the right way to use these things. And so, this can be educational for us too, like for sure. We're not pushing out all of this amazing knowledge. We're just...
No, we're getting it. I mean, we were learning a lot. Learning a lot, especially the people we've gone and talked to. Yeah. And so it's awesome. We have 6 people watching. We have 3 likes on it. Those 3 of you... Do you think those are real people, the other 3?
Who else would they be? Robots? Like, what do you mean real people?
I don't know.
You must have to define real people to me.
Well, I mean, maybe they're like people that... Maybe... YouTube does strange things with numbers sometimes. Okay. Like, maybe there's somebody that popped in for a second and popped out and they're just still hanging there. I don't know. Facebook never... We can never... This has been so much easier as far as reading comments and stuff than Facebook was for us.
Yeah, because it was weird. I think it had to do with who was friends with who, and
yeah,
you couldn't see things from my friends, and my friends were the ones chiming in on Facebook, and so yeah, we're learning as we go and learning about things about cameras and lights and
yeah. Let's see what that last. No worries, guys. I'll be back for sure. Awesome. It's fun. You guys are real. Just play. Not mean and full of yourself. Yeah, you know, Joe. The story I always tell. I was out watching a blues band one time, and the guitar player was killing it. I mean, absolutely killing it. And he was playing this really unique, like 335. I don't think it was a 339, but somewhere between like a 339 and a Les Paul hollow body. Never saw anything like it. Wasn't sure what it was. Gets off the stage. I don't like get up and rush over to him like, hey man, you were great, right? I'm sitting there eating my dinner. He's on break. He's coming back by the table. He's been on break. He's been on break for 10 minutes, probably 20 minutes, whatever. He's walking by the table. I say, hey man, you sounded great tonight. Like, I really liked what you were doing. What is that guitar you're playing? I've never seen anything like that. And he gave me this, it doesn't matter what guitar I play. Just total jerk. Total jerk. I mean, and here I am. I'm 3 minutes from taking my last bite of my meal, standing up, buying the 2 CDs he has for sale, and watching the rest of the night. Total jerk. Paid my meal, paid my ticket.
Pulled the extra food out of his beard.
Out the door. And to me, so here's the deal. Here's the rule, Joe. I appreciate what you said there, because the rule has always been this for me. There's always somebody better than you. There's guitar players out there. There's always somebody better than the guy you're watching. And I don't have time to watch if you're a jerk, because there's like 100 guys out there that are playing just as good, that are nice and want to share their stuff. So it's kind of like a motto that you live by. Like, just...
I'm just laughing because I'm just going to get filleted, but I'll bring that back to John Bollinger. John Bollinger doesn't know me from Adam. Doesn't know me from Adam.
Right.
Answers me on Instagram, direct message. Invites me to come see him play. I'm thinking 45-minute set, 15-minute break. 45-minute set, 15-minute break. Played for over 2+ hours before he got his break, and spent more than half of his break talking to this dork about his channel, was willing to be interviewed. He knew what we were doing. And then it just went back and played. Like,
Right.
And offered me a couple of his whiskey shots because he couldn't drink all the shots people were buying him or he wouldn't have finished the night. That's the difference, right? Between a guy that like is a great player and a fine human being and understands that people love gear, they love talking about music.
Right. And if you don't have time to just be nice.
Right.
Like, if you want to be out there,
good vibes only.
Right. If you want to be out there like you're the greatest guy and you don't have to be nice to the people,
right, sure.
you know, that drove 45 minutes to get there. I spent $20 on a meal that night, probably. You know, like, if you don't want to be nice to people that are willing to support you in that way, I'll find somebody else that wants.
Right.
I mean, I'm not asking them to sit down and have a 20-minute conversation with me.
Right.
Like, I just wanted to tell you sounded good, buy your CDs, and maybe know what guitar you're playing.
Right.
So, unless you're Buddy Guy,
right,
which I hear could be kind of a jerk.
Maybe we'll have the, maybe that'll be our fight. Hey, what guitar are you playing? None yet. Yeah, none yet business. Time for me to take a break. So, yeah, this has been fun. I'm way more successful than I thought, I'm not going to lie. And that's, thanks to Joe and Brian, and maybe this will generate some more comments that might lead to a we asked for this moment, like
right.
This was great, and maybe we'll get filleted by the other people who chime in later, but it was fun.
Fillet away.
I got to play Jason's 335 again. Tomorrow I'll be playing one of my PRSs that I have not had on the show yet.
I'm gonna let's give some shout outs. I'm gonna give it oh my gosh, what's his name? Brian, you might know his name. So you guys. The blonde hair guy with the blonde beard that does the reviews. Oh my gosh, it just slipped my mind. It's like an old man brain fart. Maybe I'm not giving him a shout out.
I'm just laughing because I just want to say John Bollinger every time you can't come up with a name. Oh, you mean John Bollinger? I don't know. Like, have I watched him?
Yes.
We can't really edit this like we could.
Right, and he's on our list of people to check out. Anyway,
You want me to tune the guitar while you think about it? It'd be more interesting than
it doesn't matter. He has people, because we talked about, like, when are people going to start ripping on us for our playing or ripping on us for that? And he's had people rip on him, like, for his playing and stuff, and his responses to them, I think I even, like, highlighted and sent you one.
Yeah.
His responses to them are always so good. He's not snarky, and he's like, hey, man, thanks for your, opinion, whatever, but,
right.
And we just kind of decided, whatever, man, like, we're just...
No such thing as bad press, right?
We're
being talked about.
Right, this is what we do, and, like, if you don't like it, that's cool, we're alright with that, we don't like you any less. Thank you, Joe. 60 Cycle Hum. 60 Cycle Hum. I couldn't get that in my head. Anyway, so, him, and then shout out to the guys, like, we already mentioned earlier, Ben Combs and Hack and all those guys that are doing that Connects with Guitars, because they got a cool community going there. Other than that, shout out to Joe and Brian for hanging with us.
That's right.
And my wife and the 3 other people that are lurking in the background who we love. We love you. We don't know who you are.
They might be part of the witness suit relocation.
Right. We don't know who you are, but we love you. We have deep love in our heart. All right, I'm gonna get up and go shut it down.
He's gonna shut it down. You probably already subscribed.
Wait, you should give the tagline.
I will, and you're probably already subscribed and hit the notifications if you're on this. But
if you haven't, Ryan.
Ryan, right. Hopefully next time. Although this shirt is from my wife because her name is Jenny. Not to be confused with Jenna from Forrest Gump. But this is PJ on behalf of the Beard, who's back over there on everything technical. Reminding you that no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. Peace out until next time.